Oukitel WP10. It's here, one of the first rugged 5G smartphones. This phone costs $400, and for that, we get 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage, a massive 6.67-inch display, a bezel-less design, an 8,000 mAh battery, the new MediaTek Dimensity 800, and supposedly really great cameras. So yeah. So holding the phone, it does feel massive in the hands, but not as thick as I thought it would be for having an 8,000 mAh battery. I mean, it is thick, but I can still manage it, surprisingly. So yeah, we have our durable rubber, and this that I couldn't find what this is for, maybe attachments, I don't know. So this does come with a pre-installed screen protector, nice. So we have our manual, warranty certificate. Oh, we have a dongle for the headphone jack. Our charging cable and our charging brick, and that is pretty much it. No SIM ejector tool, but you just dig your fingernail in this thing over here and pull that out. And there is our SIM slot. We do have a dual SIM, surprisingly no micro SD slot this time around. At least not something that I can find. That's personally fine with me. So yeah, let's finally power this on. Looks cool now, but in a few years this is gonna look very outdated. So we are in safe mode, which is weird. I think it was because I was finicking around with the buttons because they feel kind of flimsy. I mean, not flimsy, just kind of like they don't click enough to my liking. But other than that, the phone looks great. The display looks really nice, actually. I really like the bezels. So I'm gonna set this up and get back to you. Alright, so we're gonna set our fingerprint sensor. It is over here on the side. It's sort of recessed. Okay, we have some really strong vibrations every time it's registered. Okay, this is a bit tricky actually. Finger moved too slow. What does that even mean? Now move too fast. Okay, and there we go. So there we go, the phone is all set up. So first impressions, I really like that display. It almost looks like an OLED. I mean, it's not an OLED, but the display looks very nice for an LCD. Like, I was kind of worried that it was going to be the same one they use in like $100 phones, but nope, they actually put a really good display here. I'm really impressed. So the chip we have here, so as you can see, the phone is extremely snappy right out of the box. So usually with these Chinese phones, it takes a while to settle, but as you can see, it's faster right away, so I'm really happy. So Play Store for the first time, bam, there we are. Okay, so first off, let's go to settings, and we're gonna register our face. That was extremely quick. All right, so first off, let's test our fingerprint. All right, so the fingerprint sensor, it's very fast, very reliable. Only time will tell how reliable it really is, or if it's gonna register inside your pocket. I'm gonna use the phone for a few days and let you know for sure. Okay, now the face unlock. Wow, that was really fast. All right, fingerprint unlock, face unlock, very reliable systems. I really like it. So it kind of stutters, which is weird. I don't know why, but overall it runs good. But Wind Rider, just as expected, look at how smooth this game runs. So no lag, no stutter, 60 FPS, extremely smooth gameplay over here. Okay, so as expected, Pubg runs flawlessly. It's no 60 FPS, but the game is running in the highest graphics, not HDR. The highest we can get is HD, which is also good. So yeah, for $400, I think this is a good enough experience, you know what I mean? I mean, performs just like the flagships. Only difference is no 60 FPS. So as you can see, we're running around and we can play absolutely no problems. So this phone is great for gaming, all sorts of games. any type of game, it's gonna run fine. Okay, so the speaker is pretty decent, but for 400 bucks, it could be a bit better. To let you know later on. Alright, so the cameras we get are pretty interesting. Let me zoom out real quick. Alright, so let's get right to it. So our main sensor is 48 megapixels, but we can turn that all the way down to 12 megapixels if you wanted to. Also 24 megapixels, but we're gonna keep it at 48. The front camera is 16 megapixels. Rear video's 4K, which is nice to see. Rear facing video on the Oukitel WP10, 4K, and it's currently 7 in the morning. And yeah, it looks pretty good. My cat keeps bugging me. Look at it. So let me know what. Wait, first let's try to focus. Wow, that looks really good. What do you think? Yeah. Front-facing video on the Oukitel WP10. This is only 1080p, as you know, and I don't know. It look kind of weird, don't you think? It look like kind of a cartoon, or that's just on my end. Let me move to another. What does he want? He always wants attention. Yeah, but it doesn't look too bad. Apart from the fact that I don't know that look kind of weird, don't you think? But yeah. .4K video on the Oukitel WP10. Nighttime. So on my end, it doesn't look that good, but actually pretty decent. Let me know what you think. Front-facing video on the Oukitel WP10. Nighttime, and frame rate does look a bit weird. At least on my end. Let's go into the dark for a second. Look, the shadow of the phone is covering my face. That's pretty funny. So yeah. Alright, so far the phone is great. I love it. I'm gonna put my SIM in this device. I'm gonna transfer all my apps. I'm gonna use it for a day, 2, maybe 3 days. And then I'm gonna give my final verdict. So see you in a few days. For you, it's gonna be a second. Alright, so I've been using this as my main phone since yesterday, but I started my day at 7 a.m. And now as you can see, it's 10:08. And the battery is at 96%. That is insane. I would show you screen on time, but I couldn't find where that it shows that. I don't think it does, which is weird. But yeah, the battery life is amazing. Now I'm going to talk about the things I noticed during the time I use this phone. The multitasking option won't work if you're using a custom launcher. So I tried using Nova. I tried to go to to this screen. It wouldn't work. Allow me to demonstrate. Not to mention the gestures don't even work with a custom launcher. Look. So the multitasking option is still connected to the stock launcher, which is Quick Step. So every time you try to do it, this happens. So you cannot multitask with a custom launcher. That's why I set up Quick Step to be my main launcher. At least that way I could use gestures and multitask, as you can see. Now sometimes it stutters when I'm going to the home page or switching apps. So let's go to the camera, for example. So right now it's not happening, but I don't know, it's not because it's a weak phone, just due to some optimization issues. But this is a new phone. Hopefully Oukitel pushes out some updates, because this phone is in dire need of some updates, that's for sure. So it doesn't always feel the snappiest. Sometimes it feels kind of laggy, even though it's not. Hard to explain, really. So, I mean, as expected, it feels very thick in the pocket. So when I was wearing short pants, I mean, of course, my pants couldn't handle it at all. But I do normally wear cargo shorts, which are usually able to handle this phone, so it doesn't really bother me as much. But if you're a person who wears pants with small pockets or no pockets, then you're gonna have a tough time carrying this around. Now there's this weird 5G toggle that I noticed up here. So tapped underwater camera by mistake. So there's this weird 5G toggle. So I don't know, apparently this means only that 5G will only work when this is on. So when you turn it off, wait, let's turn off Wi-Fi. I want to show you what I mean. Alright, so as you can see, it shows 4G. When I toggle it, all of a sudden 5G. So I mean, I know for a fact that from where I'm standing, there's no way that there's 5G. So Oukitel, it's being a bit deceitful. I haven't gotten the chance to test it out in a place where that actually has 5G. I'll be sure to do that. But I mean, I really don't know why they added this toggle. I mean, I guess if people didn't want 5G, they could turn it off, but you could just do that from the settings. Who cares? Just found it kind of weird. Now I want to point out this ridge around the screen. So I don't know if you can see that, but so this is a great way to protect your screen from front-facing drops like this. But what I did notice is, look at this. The back camera is made out of glass and nothing really is protecting it except a really small ridge, but I really doubt that this is going to protect the camera. So when it's dropped on the back, it hits the camera right away. So, you know, I'm kind of worried what will happen if you drop this phone on its back. I don't know if the camera will break. I don't really trust it. Not gonna test it out either. I don't want to break this phone. Just thought I would point it out. You know, I thought it was kind of weird. Now, I've been using the speaker to watch some YouTube videos, and it sounds good. You know, the only problem is this is our speaker right over here. It's not this, it's this, and it's really easy to cover up. When watching a video, my fingers usually go like around here, so I gotta adjust it so so my fingers over here instead of here. So I really wish they would have just put on the side. But I guess from a durable standpoint, it's better to be on the back. I don't know. Now these two buttons, we have the SOS button. So when you press it for the first time, it's going to show you this. So this is how you just set it up. I don't think most people are going to use that anyway. And this is our custom button. So when you press it, nothing happens. I just noticed that you swipe to the right and you get these. So this is functions. So this is where we set our custom key, which is this. They call it a PTT key. So one click, double click, long press. So you can customize this in any way you want. So we're gonna do one click and open it. Let's do open the app, not open an app. We're gonna do AliExpress because that's where I buy most of my phones. One click. So as you can see, it works. Very useful. Not for me personally, but for most other people, I think it would be. We also get a child mode or an easy launcher. So this is for like old people. This would be perfect for my grandma, for example. You know, a very simplistic design, but it is kind of glitchy. So when you try to multitask, QuickStep keeps stopping. So if you want to exit easy launch, go to settings, exit the desktop. So the transitions here aren't really the best. This is tool bag, which comes with our Blackview phones as well. So we get compass, sound meter, picture hanging, magnifier, torch, all the tools you might want to use with this phone. So, you know, compass. Okay, so we gotta do that, I guess, to calibrate it. Hold on. So yeah, pretty cool. Let's have this magnifier as well. Okay, it has been 2.5 days without charging this phone. I've been using this phone with heavy usage, light gaming, but mostly like battery draining apps like Facebook, WhatsApp, my delivery app, the app I work with, that takes a lot of battery because it's always running in the background. And we are left with 25% left. And I can't show you screen on time because there's no option to show you screen on time, but this is just like really good battery life. I'm just really impressed. 8,000 milliamp hours battery life is amazing. Now, a few more things I noticed. The ugly back markings. NFC, IP68, Oukitel, this thing. This just looks outdated. Also, this feels more like plastic than rubber. And it does feel kind of cheap. But this is high quality material that will protect your phone from drops. I just prefer the durable rubber that Blackview does. I also have a WhatsApp notification issue that sometimes I'll just stop getting notifications until I open the app. I tried like disabling optimization. I tried disabling like where it limits the data. Nothing works. So that's really, I've already missed some messages because of it. So I hope that gets fixed. And the display is good. I've been using it for 2.5 days. Only problem is, if you're coming from an OLED, you're gonna notice right away that, you know, this is a worse display. Not a bad display, just worse than OLED, of course. And you notice it the most when you're viewing dark backgrounds, or when you're laying in bed with the brightness all the way down, you're gonna notice it. But that's with any LCD panel. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with this one. Now the fingerprint sensor, it's been good and reliable. It hasn't activated in my pocket. The only thing is, you know, when you're holding the phone around, when you hold it like this, it activates the fingerprint sensor. So you gotta be careful not to touch this area too much. But the fingerprint sensor has been nice and reliable, even the face unlock. But I found myself using mostly fingerprint unlock. 5G, like at least for me, I got less 5G coverage than my iPhone 12 Pro Max, which is also 5G. I bought this in my country. So as you can see, according to the phone, I have full 5G bars. Only 58 megabytes download speed, which is 4G speeds. So that was really disappointing. Also, I did a second run in another city, 100 megabytes. Significantly better, as you can see, full bars as well. And if you're wondering which country I live in Israel, where 5G is still kind of new. So in your country, you're probably gonna get better coverage. This has just been my personal experience. I don't know if yours is gonna be better or worse. Depends where you live. Because this is a new chip, the Dimensity 800, I wanted to test Geekbench with the Note 20 Ultra, iPhone 12 Pro Max, and most interestingly, the Umidigi S5 Pro, because this has MediaTek's supposedly best chip, the Helio G90T. So I'm really curious to see how they're gonna compare. The only problem is, every time I try to do a Geekbench run on the Oukitel, it just crashes. So I'm gonna try AnTuTu, and let's see how these phones compare. The main purpose of this test is to see how the Dimensity 800 scores compares to the flagships and how it compares to MediaTek's other best chip, the G90T. So don't say this is an unfair testing. We just want to get results, guys. So yeah, without further ado, here we go. Alright, so it looks like the iPhone is the only phone that runs this test in 60 FPS, which is just insane. Alright, so the Dimensity 800 is stuttering less than the G90T. This is very interesting. Okay, so of course the iPhone is way in the lead. Okay, so this is our score on the iPhone. The Androids are still way behind. How is the WP10 beating the Note? Did I start it like sooner? That's weird. Okay, let's see what we got here. Alright, so very interesting results. Okay, so the iPhone, of course, 633,000. The Note 20 Ultra, 592,000. And the Oukitel WP10, 332,000, which is way lower than the flagships. Alright, so, which is understandable, right? These are like $1,000 phones, and this costs only $400, and this $250. Let's get rid of the flagships and compare these two phones. Alright, so this is the Dimensity 800, MediaTek's new chip to support 5G, and this is the Helio G90T, MediaTek's gaming chip. So as you can see, we only defeated 20% of users. So that's pretty bad for a gaming chip, even if it is a budget gaming chip. But remember guys, benchmarks aren't everything. This phone, as you've seen in my reviews, it's blazing fast. And what's good to see here is that the new Dimensity 800 is faster than the G90T. So it's good to see MediaTek making some decent mid-range processors. Alright, and that is pretty much it. That was my full review of the Oukitel WP10. Took me 3 days. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll try to answer them. And stay tuned, subscribe, turn on bell notifications. I'm gonna compare this phone to the Blackview BL6000 Pro and the Ulefone Armor 10 5G, which all have the same chip and which are all competing against each other in the market in general. So yeah, very interesting videos coming up. And lastly, I'm sorry I couldn't durability test the phone. I gotta keep these phones in perfect condition because I gotta sell them later on. I'm not a millionaire YouTuber who gets this phone for free. I hope you guys can understand. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.